Dark rooms, no meals, and daily thrashing with baseball bats. This was the ordeal faced by thousands of Indian victims of a job fraud in Cambodia. Over 360 Indian nationals have been rescued or repatriated from Cambodia after the Indian embassy intervened. Over 420 Indian nationals have also been rescued from Laos. You're watching News Centre. I'm Parikshit Luthra. Before we begin this special broadcast, a warning to all our viewers. The following broadcast contains disturbing visuals. Viewer discretion is advised.
देखिए मेरा पूरा ये पैर वैर का जो है इस पर पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ मारा है, सब पूरा खून निकल रहा है। ठीक है, ये देखिए मेरा ये उंगली टूट गया है, गामछा फाड़ के बांधा हूँ।
They were either beaten up with the baseball bats, confined to the dark rooms, or deprived of food for days together. That if they do really well and they're able to, generate a lot of money for these Chinese companies. In that case, they even celebrate all that, and we have got the visual videos of the celebrations and the parties. The primary ownership of all these companies is with the Chinese. We've got the visuals, videos of the Chinese guys, and they are all identifying them as Chinese. Under them are the Cambodians.
Today we bring you an exclusive coverage on how youngsters from India were lured to Cambodia on the promise of a well-paying job and forced to carry out cyber crimes and the physical torture they endured. These youngsters say they paid around 1.5 lakh rupees to local agents for data entry jobs and went to Cambodia. As many as 150 of these people are from the port city of Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. The police commissioner of the city spoke exclusively to CNBC-TV18 on the modus operandi of these fraudsters. All the victims were coerced to carry out cyber crimes and Ponzi schemes by handlers who are suspected to be of Chinese origin. On your screen are exclusive visuals accessed by CNBC-TV18, which shows the place where some of these victims worked in Cambodia. At first glance, it looks like any other corporate office. These are offices of Chinese companies operating in special economic zones. But the victims say that soon after they landed in places like Bangkok, their passports were seized and they were forced to carry out cyber crimes after being taken to Cambodia by road in cabs. Visuals show that these scams were run from buildings that were in the heart of the city and not some remote location. I spoke to two victims of these job scams in Cambodia who were recently rescued and brought back to India. They did not want to disclose their identity, but they spoke at length about their suffering in Cambodia and what they went through.
Mainly the bad things is when we are unable to do work, when we are unable to do the task what they had given to us. So the first thing was they used to beat us and they used to fine us. Like whatever the salary we are getting. So in that salary they used to fine us around a $10 per day, a $20 per day. They used to fine us. They used to have a baseball bat with them. And also they used to be a security guard. So like if we are unable to do the task they had given to us, so they just used to come inside and they just used to put the gun in front of us, a point blank gun, and they used to blackmail us like if the same thing repeats again. So they may do anything, like they may keep us in the black, and they do whatever they want. So after coming back from Saudi Arabia, I used to look for jobs. I used to attend so many interviews in Autonaga. So in Autonaga, this agent was found by me, and there was a scheduled interview at his agency. So we went for the interview, and the interview was cancelled. So when the interview was cancelled, he offered a job that we have another job, which will be an easy process, and the process will be done within a week. And I was a jobless from last 1 year after coming from Saudi Arabia. So I got attracted that the salary was good, and even I'm a jobless from last 1 year. So I mostly attracted for that, and I felt okay for that because of the data entry job, and it was cool. Like everything was good. The offer was completely pleasant. So that is the reason I said okay for that job.
There, my agent said that it wasn't data entry, which is related to your education, which is related to your BSc Computer Science. So you can do that. I think you will get in a nice position and nice salary by your skills. Okay, I thought that okay, it wasn't data entry, so I could manage. So, and also he said that the job location is from Bangkok only. Once we are reaching to Bangkok, they are taking us into the car to the Cambodian border. So until we are entering to Cambodian border, we don't know that we are going to Cambodia. Sir, conditions were too tough, sir. Daily targets, if we fail to do the targets, they'll take us into the dark room and they'll punish, and in the salary they'll cut that fine, sir. Everything they'll take. Sometimes they'll take our food card also. What is our job there is we have to create a model, sir. Like we have to select a model from social media like Instagram or something, some other dating app. So after that, we have to gather all her pics, sir, with children, with family, all her pics. And by that pics, we have to create other accounts, sir, fake accounts, by using that. After creating the account, we should send friend requests for the persons who looks good and rich, sir. Once they accept the request, we should give to that account to Chinese, sir. Once we are grabbing them to Telegram, the Chinese will take the Telegram account and they'll manage, sir. They'll do what they want to do. But we don't know what they are doing, sir. Our job is to add that customer to Telegram, sir. If we refuse to do that, means they'll put the gun on point blank and they'll bring some baseball sticks, everything. They'll threaten us, sir.
Right, so hit with baseball bats, threatened at gunpoint for not meeting targets, and they were specifically told to identify and target rich Indians on social media. I spoke to A. Ravi Shankar, the police commissioner of Visakhapatnam, to understand the magnitude of this jobs fraud and the degree of physical torture the victims reportedly suffered. I started by asking him about the modus operandi followed by the fraudsters.
We've got the correct information about 150 people who have been trafficked on the name of, giving them data entry operators job in Singapore or in Bangkok. So they were taken all the way from here to Singapore, and from there, the Cambodians took over and then trafficked them across Bangkok into Cambodia. These SEZs are all existing somewhere in the border between Thailand and Cambodia. And on the tip-off that we received from one of the reliable informants who was in fact a victim, we launched this operation, got in touch with the Ministry of External Affairs and the embassy there, Indian embassy there in Cambodia, and we've been successful in extricating or getting the safe return of nearly, till date, we have been able to get more than 36 people from Cambodia.
Right. So you're saying that you've been able to extricate and bring back at least 36 people. I would also like to ask you, sir, under what conditions were they trafficked from countries like Thailand and Singapore? Were they tortured?
Yes, it is a fact that they were all tortured if they were not able to perform very well, in the sense, the scams that were being organized on the Indians. Primarily the FedEx scam, then the stock market exchange frauds, coupled with the online job offers fraud, and then the TRI scam. Latest one is the TRI scam, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India scam, and then honey traps also have been reported. So if a person is not able to perform well, then accordingly he is subjected to various kinds of torture. This is the confessional statement given by the victims who have come from there. They were either beaten up with the baseball bats, confined to the dark rooms, or deprived of food for days together. And again, they are given training. And if they are not able to catch up, then in that case, if they do well, a shade better than what they were earlier, then they give them one time food a day. Then if they improve upon their performance, then they give them twice a day and things like that. If they do really well and they're able to, generate a lot of money for these Chinese companies, In that case, they even celebrate all that, and we have got the visual videos of the celebrations and the parties that have been organized in case they are able to really do well, and crores worth of money, if at all, if it is they are able to effectively cheat the Indians online.
Right. Could you give us a sense, their handlers, the accused who trafficked them, who were they working for? Was it a company? Was it a criminal gang? Who did they owe their allegiance to?
What we came to know through these confessional statements is that the government of Cambodia has organized these SEZs, and then they're all owned by or purchased by the Chinese companies, and they are all under the Chinese, and they're all being run by the Chinese. Under for FedEx scam, there is a particular floor full of them. And to give you the correct picture, they say that nearly 5,000 odd are there in this SEZ alone. And of late, we came to know day before yesterday that after the revolt which took place, and then we could get back these guys, some of them have been forcibly shifted to Vietnam. So these are very dangerous trends and information that is coming on WhatsApp calls. And the victims are still, we've got a list of 15 more now till date, those who want to come back, but then some of them have been again from their traffic from Cambodia, they've been trafficked to Vietnam. Parents here or directly from the victims who are there in Cambodia. So some of the disturbing trends. But then the primary ownership of all these companies is with the Chinese. We've got the visuals, videos of the Chinese guys, and they are all identifying them as Chinese. Under them are the Cambodians, and they say that the Cambodian police is also aware of these type of scams that are being operated in areas like this. We've also done the Google plotting of all these buildings and all these companies which are operating in those areas.
So, Mr. Shankar, would you say that the kingpin of these scams, this gang that is operating, are they led by Chinese? And the people who were dealing with all these Indians, hitting them, torturing them, were they all Chinese nationals and Chinese criminal syndicate members?
Primarily, all this is carried out under the aegis of the Chinese. And in fact, there are Cambodians also, and our Indians are also there. But force, they are also made to, be party with those who are siding with the Chinese out of sheer, force. So they are also part of the team which, indulges in torture, confinement, wrongful confinement in dark rooms and things like that. And it is all under the leadership of the Chinese who own the companies.
Right. You've arrested some agents. Give us a sense of the profile of these agents. How did they scam these youth? And where were they operating from, sir?
Yes, these are all gullible, unemployed youth, spread across the city of Vizag and Andhra Pradesh. So we've got a list of 150 boys and girls who have been trafficked, and some of them, those who have returned. They're all either they've done bachelors in computer applications, or some of them have done masters in computer applications. And primarily they have, the knowledge of MS Office. So these are the gullible youth who have been, taken over by these agents here. These agents, many of them have returned from Gulf. They have the experience of, body shopping people as plumbers and electricians to Gulf, Middle East. And having come back, they probably have, they have got in touch with some of the agents from Cambodia, and they are charging roughly about 1.5 lakhs to ship them across to Cambodia. And once the deal is done successfully and the person lands in Cambodia, another 50,000 rupees is transferred from the Cambodian agent's account back to the Indian agent. Say, for instance, in Vizag, we have now got under our custody 5 agents. 3 of them are sub-agents, and 2 of them are main agents. So they've been doing this business for long, and these boys primarily are all unemployed youth with these kind of qualifications.
Right. So just a bit more on the profile of the youth who fell prey to these fake job scams. Mr. Shankar, you said they were either a bachelor's, a BSc in computer science, or a master's in computer science, were they largely unemployed for a very long time? Was there a certain amount of desperation to get some job and move on in life?
Yes, you hit the nail on the head. Unemployment was the primary cause, for these youth to, they were doing online search for jobs, and these fake companies and the agents who are there in and around in Vizag city, they kind of lured them and trapped them into these kind of job offers of data entry operators with a lakh of rupees as a monthly pay. And after having gone there, they found that it is all, so pathetic, and they were forced to attack the Indians using their own skills, whatever they had. So it is using the Indians against the Indians from a foreign soil. So this was never expected by these guys, and some of them really felt very desperate and they wanted to come back. And some of them had issues with English. They were not really able to communicate. As a result, they were not able to, trap or cheat the Indians online and generate revenue for the SEZ owned by the Chinese.
Right. What was the background? Did they come from very poor families or middle class backgrounds, or they were coming from families which could not really support them if they were not working?
Exactly. They were all from very poor families and really not able to sustain themselves or even support their families. And the families were also not able to really support them. So they're all boys and girls from the very poor backgrounds, not even middle class.
All right, we'll have to take a break at this point, but don't go anywhere. This conversation with A. Ravi Shankar, the Police Commissioner of Visakhapatnam, continues on the other side. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back to News Center. Today we are focusing on the ordeal faced by thousands of Indian victims of a job fraud in Cambodia. Over 360 Indian nationals have been rescued or repatriated from Cambodia after the Indian embassy intervened. Over 420 Indian nationals have also been rescued from Laos. I asked the Police Commissioner of Vizag if there were multiple syndicates operating the cyber fraud centers involving Indians, or across all these countries in South Asia, be it Vietnam, Cambodia, Myanmar or Laos, there was one criminal syndicate operating at large.
Yes, your diagnosis is really exactly, you hit the nail on the head. It is a big syndicate, and definitely there is a big game plan that is happening from these areas. The countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, and these are the places from where it is all emanating, because we have tried to trace the WhatsApp calls, and we got all the IPDR details and the live pictures and videos from the people who have returned back from their possession in their laptops and in the mobiles. We've got all the details, even the money transfer details, the way the money is returned back to the agent here in India on a successful transfer of gullible youth there to Cambodia. So we are really trying to map and plot all the data and the details that we have with us. And this is definitely a huge organized crime against our country. And we intend to take it to the logical end by invoking all the legal instruments at our disposal, be it the Mutual Legal Assistance Treaty or the Egmont request for the financial banking requests and things like that, transactions that have taken place, because cryptocurrency is another, Bitcoins is another final destination that we are seeing in the flow of the currency from various banks across. Once a fraud is committed, they've got a huge amount of our SIM card numbers, then our bank details and things like that. Many of our Indians themselves, again the gullible youth and unemployed youth, they have sold the bank accounts for a value to these guys, these scamsters, and they're all in their possession. So all these mule accounts which are there, that is another big issue we really intend to take up in the coming days with the Ministry of Home Affairs as well as Ministry of External Affairs.
Do you get a feeling, sir, that it's not just a criminal syndicate, not just a cyber crime, but possibly a national security issue? Chinese syndicates trying to destabilize our economy, financial sector as well?
Yes, this angle really needs probably it'll all be part of the investigation, because the end of the day, the money is all going out of our country like this and then being converted into cryptocurrency or bitcoins, and whether it is being used for legitimate purposes or for some illegal purposes will really have to be found out, because Vizag city, if you ask me, last year and a half, we have lost about more than 130 crores from all these kind of fake apps and things like that online. So definitely it's a matter of concern, because we would like to know where the money is all going, whether it is going it is being used for some illegitimate purposes or not, remains to be investigated. And it is a serious matter of concern. In fact, many families and people have committed suicide because having lost money like this. Husband-wives have got into quarrels and squabbles and divorces, and then poor unemployed youth have lost their money, things like that, from agents, and it's really it's got socio-economic implications.
My final question to you, sir. You said that because of the cases that you have registered, you have got a sense that more than 130 crores has been defrauded from Indian nationals and has gone abroad in the last year and a half.
From Vizag?
From Vizag alone. If we were to ask you a larger nationwide picture or your estimate as to how much money would have been defrauded from Indian citizens altogether in the last 2 years, could you give us a larger estimate, perhaps?
Other day I read the India Cybercrime Coordination Center of Ministry of Home Affairs. It's more than 5,000 plus crores in the last one and a half, 2 years. As I read in the newspapers about it, the correct pictures, I'm sure India Cybercrime Coordination from the Ministry of Home Affairs will be able to give. But I read in the papers it is more than 5,200 crores plus is the total amount of money lost, which is documented because many of them don't report. But the documented cases which have come to 1930, which is the helpline for the India Cybercrime Coordination Center, it is given to understand that it is more than 5,200 crores plus.
And how should citizens avoid such scams, sir? It's very easy to fall prey to digital arrest. We've been reading how women have been made to actually strip on Skype and they've fallen prey to such financial scams and blackmail. How does one avoid such job scams?
Yes, it is a serious matter of concern. So we need to really take up a lot of awareness campaign on all this, and we have to expose these scams. So here in Visakhapatnam city, what we have done is we have come out with 2 to 3 minutes videos on all these scams, be it the FedEx scam or the stock exchange market scam and the cryptocurrency scam, as well as the TRI scam, Telecom Regulatory Authority of India scam. All these things, we have made some small capsules, and then as it happens, and as the screen shows, so that the people will be able to understand. So we have communicated this to the universities, to the schools and colleges, as well as to the employees in and around here who have fallen gullible victims. So this is one important thing. Apart from that, of course, the cyber hygiene is another important aspect which the schools and colleges must take it up, so that people are really wary while they are online.
Right. Clearly, as Commissioner Ravi Shankar pointed out, this cyber crime fraud originating from South Asian countries is of very large magnitudes. It's dangerous, what these youth have been going through, and more than 5,000 crores has been defrauded from India, and it's now been converted to bitcoins and cryptocurrencies. We are yet to know where this money has actually landed up, but this clearly has national security ramifications. Remember, the emphasis there by the police commissioner was on Chinese criminal syndicates, Chinese companies and Chinese SEZs, where the scam factories, the cybercam factories were actually operating. With that thought, it's a wrap on this edition of News Center. More news and updates continue right here.